Hi everyone who's watching, and welcome to a hangout with me, Pontus, and mostly Playm, the winner of the Time-Twisted tournament. So this is the exact identical copy of the deck you played during Time-Twisted 4.
Yes.
Are you going to make a new entire deck in that case and name it Time-Twisted 5, so you have like a history of all the Time-Twisted decks you played?
Yeah, if I'm going to play in the Time-Twisted 5, I'm going to do it when I after the tournament, I'm going to take how I went, so like maybe 4-3 or something, evolution. So I have like a system, so I can see how the different lists works out.
Interesting. So let's talk about your deck. But first, I want to actually ask you a specific question, because I believed you played a bunch of Inala Archmage Ritualist. You've been playing that on this stream sometimes.
Yeah.
But you choose to go for thrasios bruse in this tournament. Would you elaborate a little bit about that decision?
Yeah. So as a lot of people, I was thinking more stacks. And thrasios bruse can play through stacks well, but some stacks it can get really hurt. If they run Curse Totem and Collector Roof, we get really hurt. So I was thinking Inara can just go fast, so I can go before they get any stack pieces. So, but when I like finally decided what deck I'm going to play, I was like, I've been playing thrasios bruse for a long time. I probably should play this because I know this deck like my pocket. So I'm probably gonna, even though if they're gonna be stacks, I'm gonna play through it and I'm gonna play. And if I perform well, I know that I'm a good player and I really enjoy playing this list too. And the grind part, when I played Nala, I really noticed that if you don't win early, you lose, basically. So I was thinking, like, with this deck, you can have a better chance if you do something wrong and go for a win when you shouldn't. You can go and grind and try another time.
Yeah, it adapts a lot better, so to say.
Yeah.
And that's probably good in a tournament where you don't really know exactly what you're going to go up against. You could be a little bit more adaptive depending on your opponent.
Yeah.
But is this a deck you know better compared to Inala, or I think you said that this was your favorite deck one.
Yeah, I've been playing this deck for, I think, something like 7 months now, and like updating the list and doing what's talked a lot with the original creator of the list, Alton. Like, I've been playing this for a long time, and then I think, like, after the Oktoberfest, I was like, probably maybe I should play something that goes faster. So then I wanted to try Nala, and I kind of, when I try that, I know, like, yeah, this is a good deck, but I can play with it, but I don't know it that well as I know the evolution deck. I really, really know the evolution deck, so it's like, it's really good when you get in like hard situations, especially against stacks, to know your deck well.
That is an interesting comment, because I've actually interviewed some people that have gotten really far on tournaments. Like, I've interviewed a mono white Heliod player, Mike, and I talk with some other people playing some obscure commanders and getting pretty high in the tournament rankings. And one thing they all say together is that this is my favorite deck. I know this deck inside and out. I know it exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the deck you should choose to play, because everyone is going to say this is the best deck or this is the strongest deck in the current meta, but I think choosing the deck you understand inside and out is probably better for you.
Yeah, I agree.
So let's go over your variations. You have Eric Salvagers. You also have Brain Freeze. So you run both, and I would like to, let's begin with that. Why are you on both?
So this deck's one of the, like, there's like 2 key pieces to this deck. The combos, they layer really well, and the individual cards, like how good the individual cards are, it's like there are a really few cards that are like bad on their own. So that's like one of the like things that are behind the thought of this deck. And there is a lot of synergies, like you have one of the loops I or like things you can do that I really like is you have Emile the Blessed. and you have Eternal Witness.
Yes.
So you can do a lot of fun stuff with that.
You have a spell seeker too. That's also cute. That is also cute.
So before this tournament, we were not actually on Spellseeker. So we added Spellseeker like really close to the tournament. So we talked in the Discord and we find out that Spellseeker seems like a really good card. So we played it, and I have really liked it. You have a lot of bounce spells in your deck, and that's synergies.
I wanna, like, why weren't you playing Spellseeker before the tournament?
Seems that you're less cards. It's not that you can find a lot of cards, but you can't, like, intuition is a key card you can't find, and you can't find breach. You can only find instant sorceries. You can't find breach. You can't find LED. So with combo pieces, you can't really find anything. So you're going tutor to tutor, and that is not always that good. But I kind of like it. We are also now, after the Command Legends release, thinking of adding the Ephemerate and Final Fortune line.
I'm guessing your main usual targets for Spellseeker, besides Tutor, is not Neoform because that's a tutor. You're never finding Ponder or Gamble. Oh, you could find Gamble, but a Braid, Chain of Vapor, Psychrift. You could find Dovian's Veto, I guess, and Flusterstorm. But it's like you say, you really want to find the intuition. Noxus Survival is a pretty decent target for it as well.
Yeah, that's a good target.
Yeah. Do you think that you're going to keep RX Salvager and Brain Freeze together, or you're gonna cut one of them, or keep both?
For now, I'm liking both, even though they're on their own is not that good. They layer so well because with Breach you can go Brain Freeze, LED, and Breach to win, and then you have the layer of LED can be used with Oryx Savagers, only LED and all Oryx Savagers to win. So like they can they are like LED is like the key piece in both. So it's not that LED is not that good on its own, but it gets really good when you have two combo potential with it.
Is Lion's Eye Diamond actually doing something for this deck individually? Have you ever used it to cast Bruse? I mean, I guess you never done that, and you probably don't need a Lion's Eye Diamond to cast your Thrasios. But have you ever used it somewhere?
So one thing that you can do that is real fun. If you cast a wheel, you can hold priority and crack LED to get some more mana. And we ran 2 wheels, I think now, Wheel of Fortune and Windfall.
Yes.
Yeah. Also LED, I have done this and it's really nice. LED, if you don't have enough mana to go off with Emil and Dockside, so you find Emil, have it in battlefield, and Dockside 0 mana, crack LED 3 mana, activate, go infinite. So it helps you if you're tight on mana and need to win with the Dockside and Emil.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. And you also have Lord Drakis and Dockside. You have Barin and Dockside.
So Lord Drakis is also actually a combo piece.
Would you like to explain how the Lord Drakis combo works?
So you have Dockside, Lord Drakis. You mutate Lord Drakis, return a bounce spell, bounce Dockside, Lord Drakis, and replay them. So you need a lot of treasures, but you can do this until you have infinite treasures. So here's where Lord Drakis gets really good. It's because it's another thing that can get cards back from your graveyard.
You play the Soul Ring, Mox Diamond, Mox Amber, Mana Crypt, Lotus Petal, Lotus Chamber. Nothing strange here. You don't play Serda and the Basalt Monolith.
No, it's one of the things I think some people often do is they put too many combos in their decks. So combos, you don't need that many, and Serda is that's one of the differences from the Dawnwaker one. They're not leaning they're leaning more into Darkside, and we're leaning more into Breach. So Serda also works with easier to win with a meal. You need fewer treasures. So, but it's like 3 mana, and the Basalt Monolith combo is, if you first gonna play the Basalt Monolith combo, you could add
Power Artifact.
Yeah, Power Artifacts, and then you can add Green Monolith, and then you can add Copy Artifact to take off. So you when you first go into that, you go into so many other cards like layer well with that. So you need to choose a direction. So with this list, it's not going for that direction.
It's more going for the breach, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are not playing Kinnan, and you're not playing that many dorks, actually. I guess that's the reason you don't play Kinnan.
Yeah, so Kin is also common heavy with Basalt Monolith. So that's like, and Kin is like, it's a really good card. But what I have seen lately is there is a lot of decks on Kin, and you're on Gilded Drake. So, but it's also in the type of meta we're in. We don't know now, but before it's kind of going a little slower with Kin.
Yes, it is more of a grindy card.
Yes, so that's like one of the things. By not running Kin, you're going a little bit faster, leaning more into the faster plan.
And you're playing however, you are playing Seedborn Muse, which is something of the more slower plan.
Yeah, but Seedborn is so good with Bruse Towel, Neoform, or Eldritch Evolution. And Seedborn is just a really good card because you get to control the board or what people does really well. With that, you get a lot of mana.
I actually view Seedborn Muse as a slow and unsecure win con with thrasios, like a one-card combo.
So when I've played recently, there has been a lot of people hating on my Seedborn because everybody think at it as of a win condition, because you essentially, if you can activate it 2 times, you draw 6 cards. And with the heavy tutor density and how cEDH decks are built, that is really good.
Yeah, I mean, if you get like 2 turn cycles with this, you have won the game, or you should win the game pretty soon. I think it's a little bit risky, but if you can get away with it, it's definitely worth it. And like you say, Eldritch Evolution from Bruse into it, or Neoform into it, makes it pretty consistent.
Yes.
Otherwise than that, you have a pretty standardized deck. You have the Gitaxian Pro, Winds of Rebuke, Unsubstantiate, a bunch of bounce spells, and to clarify to all people that missed it, Lord Drakis and bounce spells is the way to go. But you do play a Braid and you play Psych Rift.
Yeah, so a Braid, it hits or all the relevant creatures nearly. Like it hit Granith, it hits Hirschbringer, it hits a lot of cards, and you can destroy an artifact. So there's a lot of artifacts, stacks pieces like Curse Totem, and the one that shut off Null Rod. So it's like you can remove a lot of cards that can stop you from winning. So that is why it gets really good. And with Blood Moon in play, you can cast it.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
It doesn't remove the window, sadly.
Actually, going back to the game that we had here, there is a Blood Moon in play.
Yeah.
How much did a Blood Moon actually affect you?
So in this game, I was so far into the grind, so it didn't affect me that much. But if you see, I have the only color mana, I have my lands that all tap for mountains are red, and I have the Chromox with green, and I have Arcane Signet.
Yeah, with a Chromox in green and Arcane Signet, you're kind of fine.
Yeah.
Kinda.
In
general, you have Forest and Island, and that's it. I don't think you need more.
No, I've seen the Blood Pod decks are on 4 basics, and they are leaning into Blood Moon. So
yeah, I think you always should have at least 1 or 2 basics just because of Assassin's Trophy, unless you're on Hermit.
Yeah.
You don't play Utopia Sprawl, but you do play Wild Growth, and I'm guessing your forest density is a little bit too low.
Yeah, we run
Taiga and Tropical Island.
Breeding Pool.
Yeah, Breeding Pool. Savannah is probably... Yeah, Savannah.
Yeah, and so I am on Guy's Cradle. That's like the different from the maker of the deck, Alton. He has some different in the land base. I like Guy's Cradle, but I'm probably gonna switch away from it.
Because of only 16 creatures?
Yeah, you usually have 1 creature anyways. So that's like why I initially ran it, because you almost every time have 1 creature because you always want to have chances to play. So it's like, but it can be.
Normally you have a Thrasios and a Manadork in play, and then it's
Yeah.
decent. But if you have more, it just gets stronger.
Yes. So with Seedborn and 4 creatures play, it gets really good. So that's like why I like running it. But I think I'm maybe gonna switch away from it. Clean up the mana base with the new Command Legends lands.
Ah, yeah. Are you going to, by the way, are you going to increase the creature ratio in a form? I'm thinking about Hull Breacher for this deck, maybe.
Yeah, so definitely Hullbreacher and putting Wheel of Misfortune into. But one thing about this list is Baron. It requires 6 mana to win, so 6 treasures with Duckside, and that can be a little too much. So that is also a card I'm a little bit, do I want to run this or not? But the good thing is it bounces your opponent's creatures too.
Yeah, like Gilded Drake.
Yeah, you can do very much fun shenanigans. I played in a game. It won me the game because there was someone playing double team nuts and leaning into Grand Arbiter, trying to get 3 Grand Arbiters in play. yeah. With Grand Arbiter, Phantasmal Image, and Shakima of the 1,000 Faces. So, but then that got really good.
Speaking of Phantasmal Image, you're not playing Phantasmal Image.
No, I was. Yeah, I was on it before the tournament, but that is like one of the switch cards that you're pretty going in and out. And when we added Spellseeker and Lord Drakis, Phantasmal Image is one of the cards you cut.
What do you think of this deck's pros and cons? Like, why would you play this deck, and why wouldn't you play this deck?
So, why would you play this deck? You can do a lot of fun stuff. You can grind, but you can also go a little bit fast. You can do You can do a lot of fun things with how the combos are layered.
Mm-hmm.
So there is like accident combos like the Eternal Witness Emil and Lines of Diamond combo. So it's really fun if you want to learn your deck very well and play with it good. You should play this. One of the cons, you're not on black.
Oh, yeah. What do you think about the, what's the name? The Thrasios Vile Smasher version of this instead? The swap out white for black.
So white gets really good when you have Emil, you have Abolisher, you have Silence, you have Oreo Sellers. There is a lot of good cards. I really enjoy winning when you can interact with either Silence or Grand Abolisher. One of the things with white is if there's you can win with Endwell Breach, Lines of Diamond, and a wheel. But that gets really risky if you're not under a silence effect. And of course, you have Sevene's Reclamation that makes intuition piles insane. So that's like the thing. White is like really good in breach decks, I would say.
I guess the answer to what is the weakness for the Vile Smasher Thrasios, that's they're not on white in that case. But yeah, this deck would really like to play Deathrite Shaman, I guess, and maybe a... would you play Opposition Agent in this deck? I think you would.
Yeah, you probably would, but...
hard answer.
Yeah, but for me personally, whenever you go into black, you go Turbo Nos, and so yeah.
That would pretty much change the entire list, as your CMC is pretty decent actually. Force of Negation, Force of Will, Intuition, Mana Drain, Mental Misstep, how many... It feels like a pretty heavy interactive deck, actually. Do you think this is a good deck to start with, or do you think it's a very complicated deck to play? Like, do you need to know a lot to play this one?
It is actually recommended, but personally, I think you can play it as a new player, but to play it well, you need to... I started with it as a new player, but you need to... If you really want to play well with it, you need to play it for a long time, and you need to learn cEDH. Like, you can't just... you need to actually, when people give you feedback, you need to take that into you and and do what they say, or listen to what they say. So it's if you like have a mentor or something that can help you watch your games and say what you did wrong, I would play this as my first deck probably, but I would personally not start with this as my first deck alone.
Yeah, control decks can be a little bit tricky to play. There's actually a really funny comment from the chat from Kos, and sorry I can't pronounce your awesome name here. Good deck to start with for $8,000, almost $7,200. Yeah, that's a great start. Let's begin there. Do you have any other advice for people that wanna play this deck or build it?
You need to learn threat assessment really well when you are when you're playing a 4-player game. I think if you're like, this is a really, it runs a lot of interaction, you need to do really well threat assessments. And one thing I notice is you need to really know when you're going for the win. So I have noticed with myself how I play. Like before, I went for the win at the wrong times and I lose. But now I went for the win the right times and I win a tournament.
Yeah. So is that the reason why you won the tournament, you would say?
It's hard to say.
Or where would you like summarize the reason why you won?
Yeah, so maybe you need to like when you come out, when you try to win, but also the right threat assessment is like really important, because you are on a singleton format, so you don't get double up of counter spells and stuff. So when you use a spell, it's like it's over, but you can get it back, but you don't want to get a counter spell back that often. So you need to really know when you are going to remove something. And in this deck, you don't always want to like remove a value piece.
Interesting. So like every interaction you do really have to value and do its work, and you have to think about using them. Yeah, it feels that's a very important lesson for a grindy control deck that is trying to control the board state, and there are certain things you don't really need to care about, and the less you need to deal with, the better off you are, so to say. Yeah, awesome. Thank you for all of your advice. I think we covered all the cool things about the Time Twisted tournament and your amazing decks, guys. And once again, Playm, congratulations for winning the tournament.
Thank you. I needed that mana crypt.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.